Children of the night, what music they make.
They're all gonna laugh at you!
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
What's up?
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash you open.
Hey there, everyone. Welcome to the post-Halloween episode of Final Guys. I'm your host, Jason Brant, this week, unfortunately, so you can hear me mispronounce every goddamn word. I didn't call us Finals Guys this time, so...
Good, it's improvement.
Yeah.
We're happy.
I'm joined by horror author Hunter Shea.
Howdy, boo!
And Monster Man Jack Campisi.
Happy post-Halloween.
Are you guys in the slump? Are you watching non-horror things now?
I did a Real Housewives of Orange County marathon one day. I really did. Because look, I can't get enough of Vicki Gunvalson and all them.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
I'm actually loading up on horror now because the World Series is over.
That's right. You're catching up.
Okay, yeah, you're a little behind. All right. Yeah, this is the first week I only watched one horror movie this week. I have a couple others I want to mention that are adjacent, but
Wow.
this happens every year. I always have to take like a week off because I go so nuts through October that I just need to cleanse the palate for a bit.
I did 49 movies last month.
Wow.
Oh my God.
And I watched 4 this week, but I'm only talking about 2.
The other ones were that good.
Yes, that's not worth discussing.
So this year for Halloween, my wife dressed up as a sexy ninja and I dressed up as a ninja with a giant Santa Claus belly I found. So we went as a nice pairing. Jack, what were you dressed up? Did you dress up this year?
I was a big baby, so I had a. You saw it. I had
asked
an
if you dressed up.
Yeah, whatever. All right, I pooped myself a little.
You look like a baby. I'm going to eat you.
I'm gonna eat you. I think because we had 800 trick or treaters.
What? I had none.
It was bigger than ever this year.
Jesus.
But I think we figured I was in. People asked to take pictures with me at least 60 times. Videos, pictures. I was asking for hugs. And then when people would hug me, I'd scream in their ear, "Change me!"
Oh, you must have been that thing trending. # creepy baby.
That was probably me.
Very nice. Jack, you hit up any Halloween parties or anything?
No, there was no Halloween parties this year. And there was no trick-or-treaters.
Wow.
I kicked back and watched some old favorites this week, though, so I'll be happy to talk about that. But my friends who usually have a party did not have a party this year. So
You were like the old man in Trick or Treat. We sitting by the fire watching fucking Ron Popeil.
yes, that's exactly what I did. And I bought one of those set it and forget it ovens. And now I have like 16 rotisserie chickens out here.
That is awesome. I'm coming to your house, man.
All right.
Set it and forget it.
Before we jump into the news, how about some drinking rules there, Hunter?
Sure, I'll do drinking rules. I don't write the rules. I just report the rules. Just remember that. Thank you, Sheridan, once again, popping in last minute, making us wait. Whatever. We're not going to hold it against you. If Jack says dead leprechaun or family, and a dead leprechaun family is tragedy, you must drink. If I say Shirley's, not Shirley, Shirley's read an episode, you drink. Jason, if you say Seamless, Nell, and Flanagan, oh my God, drink. And if we say Hidden, Ghost, and Timeline, all right, this is going to be a big one.
Is Nell the Jodie Foster movie where she's like the woman in the wild?
Yeah, she can't talk right and she's naked for 45 minutes of it. That's a good movie.
Is that our featured movie or is it Leprechaun? Is Leprechaun the movie? Why did he use leprechaun? I don't understand why leprechaun would be the word. Leprechaun, leprechaun, leprechaun.
So,
yeah, leprechaun's a weird word, leprechaun.
Something in the news about leprechaun? Huh?
I don't know.
Actually, I can work that into something. I will do that later.
But it's my word.
Only
I say leprechaun.
You will know when to say it when I start talking about something.
So when
you'll get it.
You acknowledge it, I say leprechaun.
Yep, sure, why not?
So I don't say leprechaun until you tell me to say leprechaun. Okay.
Correct.
You say leprechaun until it's time to say leprechaun.
Okay, I will not say leprechaun unless I'm cued to say leprechaun.
Perfect.
Okay.
Beautiful segue into the news.
Okay. Today's news does not feature any leprechauns.
What about Nell?
Well, I did watch Silence of the Lambs on Sunday, so I was thinking of Jodie Foster, so that counts as Nell.
Those starlings.
Fly, 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 little Nell. Okay, so I wanted to start off news with something that would just turn you two into pissy, crabby old men who were combative.
Good.
I have Walking Dead news.
Who cares?
Oh God.
Here we go. You're great improv guys. Okay, I'm just gonna shut down now. So this past week was Andrew Lincoln's final episode on The Walking Dead. Many people suspected he might die, and I never thought for a second he was going to die. And as a matter of fact, he did not.
No,
because it's all over. He, at the end of the episode, is whisked off by a helicopter. And
What?
Yeah, he was
now-
picked up by the black guy and the white girl from Dawn of the Dead. They just happened
Yes.
to spot him.
Ken Faree. So it turns out Andrew Lincoln is now going to star in a series of at least 3 big budget AMC Walking Dead larger mythology movies where they're going to explore the zombie apocalypse from other corners of the earth. And this is a big initiative where they're going to have many different forms of content of the Walking Dead now, which they already do with some web series and things like that. But he was talking about how we're going to see different parts of the globe. We're going to revisit some old characters, maybe see some stuff from the past, some stuff from the future. So just when you thought that this show was nearing the finish line, they re-upped Norman Reedus for 3 years, Melissa McBride for 3 years, and they're going whole hog.
Wait,
but Rick is no longer on the show.
does anyone there look at a ratings book? I mean, this ship has sailed on this show.
I know.
This whole season that they're touting, the end of Rick Grimes, nobody's watching.
So they did a time jump at the end, and little Judith is now like an 8-year-old or a 10-year-old in it.
Oh,
So they're going. I think what's going to happen, they're going to get a slight bump from this, and then it'll go back down by the end of the.
Now, will they go back in time now that he's flown the coop? No, they
No,
can't.
they went forward. They went forward, but I'm sure the Rick movies will not jump forward. They'll probably pick up immediately.
Fill in the gaps nobody wants to see. Good.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to say something positive about this show for the first time since we started doing Final Guys. I like that at least they're finally shaking things up.
Yes.
A big jump forward. I mean, look, you got to try something. Nobody gives a shit about this show. And the idea of big budget movies where it's just Rick out doing different things actually kind of interests me a little bit. My biggest problem with The Walking Dead, other than it was getting really unrealistic, I just didn't care about the characters that were left.
No, that was my issue too.
Almost all the characters I like
in
died.
the last episode, they had he was having visions, because he was in a fever dream kind of thing, and Shane made an appearance, Herschel, and Sasha. Let me tell you something. When John Bernthal and him were on the camera together, you're like, oh, that's right. When Shane and Merle were on this show, this was actually a pretty good show.
This was a good show a couple years ago.
They were awesome characters, man.
I like the idea of taking him out and putting him in different things in this world. Look, it can't be worse than the show's been. So
no,
I think
they need to shake it up big time. No, have like a leprechaun or something.
They need Jodie Foster to show up topless, speaking gibberish.
Whatever. Hey, it's their money, you know.
I will check out that first movie.
After they watch this full season, the rating returns, they might change that plan. This is, I think, trying to exit gracefully.
Well, we'll see. At least they're shaking it up a little bit. I'm curious. I still watch it. I call it hate watching it, but I still watch it.
It's just like when we listen to Mike Francesa on The Fan.
Yeah.
Hate listening. Okay.
Know what people
Did
do
either
with
of you
this.
guys? Did you guys ever watch Penny Dreadful?
I tried,
Yeah, I tried. I couldn't get into it.
and
Everybody
I'm
says it's
a
great.
Green fan, but I did not like it.
It's on Netflix. It's one of those ones I keep thinking I need to go back. I've heard great things about it and all that, but I guess a lot of people were upset that they let it end too quickly. That they should have kept going, and they ended, I think, after like 3 seasons or something.
Mhm.
Well, they're bringing it back Showtime is reviving it. Penny Dreadful, City of Angels.
All right.
It's like the Crow. It was a City of Angels Crow.
Like City of Angels, like a million things.
Is Edward Furlong going to be in it?
Jesus.
Penny Dreadful, Angels in the Outfield. There's a leprechaun in it, and it won't have the original cast, so no Eva Green. So I'm out.
Oh, wow. So what's the pernt?
But it's going to take place in 1938 Los Angeles. And it's going to be deeply influenced by Mexican-American folklore and social tension.
Unless they build the wall.
So it'll be how do you say the Day of the Dead in
El Dia de los Muertos.
Muertos. I don't get Showtime, so it's another one of those things I'll go, maybe
you can watch it in my house.
Okay.
Congrats, Penny Dreadful fans. Good luck.
Good luck with that.
I watched 1 or 2 episodes and I was just like,
I was the same way, and I was really excited to watch it, and I was like, nah, my time's too precious to power through.
I was actually excited when I found out it was canceled and I was going to start watching, because I thought, I don't have to keep up with this show. I can just blast through it and be done. And I don't know, maybe it's one of those that gets better, but it just didn't grab me right away.
Let me tell you, the amount of I enjoy a show is now in parallel with knowing that it has a finite end.
I know.
And shows that I
up.
love, they extend. I'm like, mother effer, I hate this show.
I've been wanting to catch up on Supernatural for about 7 seasons now, and it's so daunting. I just can't bring myself to start it up again.
That's like 280 episodes.
It's going to take me years.
You'll never do it.
Probably
well, you
not.
know how they keep taking like movie franchises and turning them into limited series and Netflixers, things like that.
Mhm.
I think a great contender to that would be the Leprechaun franchise.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, buddy.
Okay.
What if they resurrected Leprechaun by bringing Jennifer Aniston back? She's still getting work?
Boom. Yes, she is.
And the guy who played Francis in Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Francis.
You'll be sorry, Pee-wee Herman.
I'd watch that.
Okay, so you know how we often talk about the Quentin Tarantino Charles Manson movie?
It's been a while.
Yeah, it has
It's been a while. Well,
I
this is not news about that movie, but it's adjacent to it. It's like we have an adjacent.
I was going to say, is it a Jason Brant?
It's a fat ninja.
The stunningly handsome young author.
Oh, but he's drinking.
So there is
I'm not
a
drinking,
movie.
that's fine.
I may have brought this movie up in the past. I can't remember if I have or not, but I'd forgotten about it. There is a movie being made called The Haunting of Sharon Tate, and Hilary Duff.
Bradford.
Hilary Duff is playing,
She looks like
Sharon
Sharon Tate. That's actually pretty good casting.
and it takes place. It looks at the last few days of her life before her murder. I guess in an interview published a year before her death, she had said something about she dreams about ghosts haunting her, and she foresaw her own death at the hands of a satanic cult.
What?
Mm,
I don't know how true or not true it is, but so you know how there was like the two end of the world movies that happened at the same time? There was the 2 volcano movies at the same time.
Yeah, they do that on purpose.
Now we're getting the Sharon Tate movies. And there's part of me that's like, would you just let the poor woman rest in peace? But
Yeah. Now,
get Hilary Duff and Margot Robbie playing her. So
here's the question, and you guys can help me. Because of the announcement of this movie, do I throw away my spec script for The Haunting of Sharon's Taint? Or
No.
you think that still can get greenlit?
that's one of those I want you to read by a fire in a smoking jacket while I do a slow dolly in.
You know, we are now in the autumnal season. The fires are getting lit. I can, by all means, sit by the fire and read. Read.
you have Garrett Morris next to you reading it for the hearing impaired.
Sharon's taint was just between her vagina and her butthole.
That's a winner, I think.
That's it.
I can't top that. So let's
Wait, hold on. One thing quick. Are either of you guys listening to the Halloween Unmasked podcast?
no, what's that?
It's 8 episodes, and it talks a lot about Halloween and the sequels. She has exclusive interviews with John Carpenter, Jamie Lee Curtis, the producers. They even have one episode where they talk to psychiatrists about how Michael was misdiagnosed and how Donald Pleasance fucked him up. It's a really cool. It's 8 episodes, and they're about half an hour to 40 minutes each.
Okay.
Halloween Unmasked.
Yeah, and then I found out that Paul Rust, who did Love, he has a podcast where it's all about Jason Voorhees. So I got to
Really
next. Yeah,
That actually sounds pretty neat.
yeah. So I've been listening to it like on my drives to work. It's great.
All right. And I also throw out we're 16 days away from new Joe Bob.
There you go.
All right, you guys ready to jump into some staff picks?
Yep.
Here we go.
We have such sights to show you.
All right, since I'm sure I have more than everyone else, I will go first and just say that the tall one and I revisited The Matrix this week. It had been a long time.
Whoa.
The 4K Blu-ray has this whole color restoration and everything, so I really wanted to check it out. And it looked and sounded so freaking good. I can't believe how well this movie holds up. It's an all-time classic for a reason. And just watching it again, I was reminded of how much this movie changed the way other movies were made. Kind of like when Avatar came out and then every freaking movie was 3D for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
You saw this stupid goddamn bullet time effect, which looks phenomenal in this movie, and then in every other movie after it looked god awful.
Yeah, they found cheaper and cheaper ways to do it.
This movie ushered in the wire work
Yes.
era, like Charlie's Angels.
Mm-hmm.
Up in,
And
Mr.
this looks
Anderson.
This looks so amazing. The only thing that really doesn't hold up in the visual department is the CG in a few scenes with the machines and stuff in the real world. But all the fight scenes, I don't think they used a whole hell of a lot of computer animation because everything looks so real and it just looks like they're blowing up pillars and punching through walls, and it's just phenomenal. The story's great. I still love this movie.
here's why I'm freaking sick of that movie.
Okay.
Point, counterpoint.
Because that movie came out right around the time that everybody was getting fancy TVs and sound systems.
Mm-hmm.
So every time you went over somebody's house and they wanted to show off their TV, they would put in the freaking Matrix so you could hear the bullets.
Yep.
And all that. And yeah, great movie. And by the 80th time, I'm like, would you put in Black Hawk Down or something else that has a lot of bullets falling on the ground, for God's sakes?
Yeah, really.
No, but I actually haven't watched that whole movie in a long time. Joey Pants is in that movie.
Who the hell's Joey Pants?
Joe Pantoliano.
He's the one that he wants to be. He wants to go into the Matrix.
Yes.
I haven't watched it in a long time, too.
So it's pretty cool. The 4K, apparently, I did not know this, but the versions we've seen over the years are not what it looked like in the theaters. I mean, I saw that freaking 20 years ago, so I didn't remember. But apparently, they did a complete color correction to make it look like the sequels. So every release since then has looked different than the movie did on release until this one. So it's kind of cool seeing it again, and I could actually see a difference. It was pretty neat. So
I remember my wife was shopping in Walmart, and I went to watch that, and I had no idea what it was. And I
wow,
walked
that's a
out
nice
like,
surprise.
What the hell? I used that soundtrack to write to for like the next 3 years.
It's a great soundtrack. We actually commented on it watching it this time. I forgot how great it is.
Yeah.
He wrote Swamp Monster Matrix when he was writing.
Shit, that would be great if I had a soundtrack like that, man.
Whoa.
All right, Hunter, what do you got?
I watched the Bigfoot movie. I know. I wait for the collective gasp. And I just happened to walk in after work, and I see my wife.
40-something movies, and you're reporting on a Bigfoot movie.
I know, right? It's crazy. Well, I'm not even going into that's over. October's over. This is November movies. Primal Rage, which as I'm tweeting about it, Jason reminds me that Steve Bernard wrote about it on the website, which was subconsciously, I was like, oh shit, that's right. I knew that this movie was supposed to be good, which is why I stuck with it.
It's a great review too.
It's a really good review, and it is number 2 in Bigfoot movies of all time.
I think that's what he said, isn't it?
I think he did too. It's not your regular Bigfoot movie. So this is a Bigfoot that wields a bow and arrow and machetes and knives and wears a mask because he's like this Indian spirit Bigfoot. The practical gore effects of this are absolutely bananas. I mean,
Good or just
yeah.
ridiculous?
Really good. He'll take like a dude's head and just start squeezing it. And you know how the camera will usually cut away when they're starting to pop? You're watching this head completely cave in and him just tearing the bits out.
Jesus.
Yeah, eyeballs, cheekbones, just like it's a lot of fun.
Now, as a cryptozoologist, do you feel like that's accurate to the Bigfoot behavior pattern, or?
I feel that if there was a Bigfoot in New Jersey, it would be pretty irritable.
Because you were irritable about the Michael Myers head stomp, but you seem pretty fired up about this. So I'm just trying to figure out where the line is.
All fired up about this. This is I give them credit for originality for Bigfoot and gore. They win hands down for gore.
Bigfoot with a bow and arrow is like, it's kind of Hunger Games with Bigfoot. I'm liking this.
I'm sitting there going, wait, did that really fucking just happen? He's a great shot, man. So
did I spot that on Shudder? Is that where it was?
It was just on cable. It was on TV when I walked in the door.
Oh, okay.
And I put my bag down. And I just stopped moving, and I forgot to eat. And I just watched that movie.
I'm interested.
Primal Rage.
All right.
Check it.
Yeah.
Well, it was Halloween week, so I went right to the well, and I'm not going to report on every movie I watched, but I watched a bunch of my favorite movies. So I'm gonna talk about two of them this week, and the first one is Dream Warriors, the Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
Mm-hmm. I was literally talking about this movie last night with my buddy.
'Twas the night before Halloween, and all through the house, I was looking for something to watch. And as I was flicking through, I was like, I've been thinking about hipping up Dream Warriors for a while. Tonight's the night.
Patricia.
God, I love this movie so much, and it's such a great time capsule of the time that it came out, because like the kid in the wheelchair who's like the dungeon master, that was so prevalent back then. Like, and this was the first movie that really took the dream world and kind of created cool sets around it and took Freddy into the next step in what he could do in the dream world. And Robert Englund is really used sparingly in it, but when he's in it, he's awesome. And if you watch it, his voice fluctuates from one Freddy voice to a different one. Mm-hmm. And the part I always kind of remember, but I forget about when I'm watching it, is there's a whole like 7 Voyages of Sinbad fight scene between Freddy and John Saxon and the guy who looks like Bill Maher.
I don't remember that.
In the junkyard, where it's like the stop motion Freddy skeleton fighting them, and it's clearly superimposed. But you love it because back then that's what special effects were.
Yeah, exactly.
There's great stop motion. There's the nurse tongue-tied Joey. It's just I watch this probably once a year or every other year or whatever, and I always come back to it. It's like, damn it, if I don't just love this movie. So
I love the movie too, but it's also the movie where they decide we're going to turn Freddy Krueger from a rapist schmuck to a comedian at the Neville who just happens to murder one.
Which I loved, because for me, I couldn't wait for the next Freddy movie for more of that. That was and every time Freddy killed from then on, you were looking for the one-liner, and me and my friend would toast it. So
take my wife, please.
Michael Myers and Jason never had trouble remembering any of their lines because they never had any.
That's right.
Freddy had to put the work in.
I always viewed this movie the same way I viewed, was it Friday the 13th 6? That's the one where they just full on, he's a zombie, he's resurrected by lightning, we don't give a shit, he's unkillable. It's probably my favorite Friday the 13th movie, kind of like this movie for Nightmare on Elm Street. The problem is it basically ruins the series within a movie or two, because every movie then has to escalate, and it just becomes more and more ridiculous. But man, the first time is great.
The stuff they did with his mom, Amanda Kruger, and the nun and all that, yes, you're right. They had to then exploit it in all the other ones. It's just like Michael Myers and it's his sister, and then it's his niece and all this other crap. Every single one of these franchises takes a concept and milks it to death. But that initial moment where they do it, you're like, oh man, the bastard son of 100 maniacs, one of the great lines of all time.
When my wife was going under, she was being wheeled in to get double knee replacement. I went, but the last thing I said to her was, in my dreams, I can walk.
Lovely.
She laughed and they wheeled her away, and she walks. See?
Oh, that's great. Do you own this, Jack, or did you stream it somewhere?
I streamed it. I actually paid a couple of bucks. I keep meaning to buy it, but I just have a pile of Blu-rays that I never watched. So, I'm not a huge movie buyer anymore, but there's probably a few like this that I should just have.
Yeah, really.
All right.
Be a good Christmas gift for a podcast partner, I think.
Think about that. Yeah.
Probably not going to happen.
We'll do our Secret Santa.
Somebody just gets a used mop.
Oh my God, I hope that's me.
So my continuation of going back and revisiting movies that I thought I'd seen or have only seen parts of but never finished, I went and watched Chud this week.
Oh,
which is another one I was sure I'd watched, and I'm watching the first half hour. I recognized nothing in this movie. It wasn't until it got to the creatures that things started kind of coming back a little bit, but I did not remember a whole hell of a lot of this. So it's kind of like watching it for the first time, and I enjoyed this way more than what the hell did I watch last week? Night of the Comet.
Yeah, it's much better than Night of the Comet.
Way better than that. But what's great about this too is the story is just dog shit. So these guys in the government are storing nuclear waste under New York City for some reason. What? Why? But it's actually a pretty well-made movie. I was surprised. First of all, the acting. This is Home Alone before Home Alone. It's got what's his name? John Hurd.
Yeah.
His name. And the one bandit guy with the crazy hair. Oh, I don't even remember his name anymore.
Oh, that guy who
Daniel Stern.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played the Reverend guy who feeds the homeless in it. But the movie looked good, and they did a good job not showing the monsters right away. There was actually effort put into certain parts of this movie, just not so much in the story. And it was fun. I enjoyed the hell out of this. I think I saw it on Shudder, so it's worth a revisit.
About Chud. I saw that movie once in my life. When it came out, like on cable for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember with the lowest expectations of a movie possibly ever going into, and being so pleasantly surprised. Like, wow, Chud was good. I really liked it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. This must have been like 1985, 80.
Yeah, it was like,
I don't know. Somewhere about there. Haven't watched it since, but I just have this pleasant memory of liking it. And it's one of those ones that now, if I watched it, there would probably just be flashes. I'm like, oh, remember that. I've no idea. Like, I don't remember Daniel Stern was in this movie.
Remember what it stands for?
Cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers.
Boom.
It turns out that's actually not what it's about, and this is not something I remembered. They say it earlier on, but one of the big reveals is that it's something about the waste disposal, urban disposal, something urban disposal. And it's like, what? Come on.
The movie box says that, though.
Yes.
It's so ridiculous.
That's what it is, damn it.
But I'm pretty sure it's on Shudder. I put a link in the description. I'm pretty sure it was on Shudder, and it's completely worth revisiting. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. And like I said, I didn't remember any of it, so it wasn't like I had a nostalgic feeling for it.
I'm totally going back and watching that.
That's a movie my father would rent all the time.
It's fun.
Watching Chud again. I'm like, what?
It's fun to go back and watch old movies like Dream Warriors or Chud or Leprechaun. Any one of those.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
It is. It's a joy.
Hunter, what did you watch?
Okay. I watched a movie that probably Jack should have watched. I think it was the last movie I watched for Horror-tober, because we were at Chiller, and I'm always looking for the movie Subspecies. And Chiller, they're always selling Subspecies 2, 3. So I said, you know what? Let me go home. It was on Amazon. It was like $2.99 or something.
That's the super cheap vampire movies, right?
Yeah, it's Charles Band.
Yeah, okay.
Angus Scrimm is in it, the tall man from Phantasm.
Boy.
So, and what really inspired me was that woman that we saw who had a Radu tattoo on her arm that took up half her arm. Radu being the large-fingered vampire. I can't even say it with a straight face.
Elliot.
He has it's like his fingers are like 3 feet long. I'm always like, how can he accomplish anything with fingers?
They're the devil's fingers.
How does he open the doorknob?
Can't even wipe himself. But it's 3 pretty girls or in Transylvania or something doing some study or whatever. And here comes the vampire. I got to admit, he's a pretty creepy vampire. he's definitely, they've taken the Nosferatu kind of longer hands and gone full on steroid long fingers. But he's creepy. There's a little bit of blood. It's the usual vampire tropes, but
So that is one of those vampire movies that I heard it was like one of those cult ones. People were like, oh, you gotta see Subspecies.
yeah.
And me being a vampire guy, I was like, okay. And I did not like that movie. I thought it felt so low budget and so cheesy. So I'd give it another chance. I'll borrow it from you.
It came out in 91, and me and my wife used to watch it all the time. I don't know why. And he keeps sucking on the bloodstone like a
That's right.
and I kept going, why the F is he sucking on that thing when he's gonna suck on that to go suck on a neck? Like I didn't
It's the everlasting gobstopper of the vampire world.
It's
good day, sir.
It's silly, but dude, it was for $2.99. I was fine. It was worth it.
I remember very little of that. When you said the bloodstone, it just popped in my head. It was shot real flat, right? The lighting almost like super
terrible.
cheap. Okay, I remember that. Yeah,
it was like shot in a thick fog.
I never saw the sequels because I didn't care for that one all that much.
I watched all the sequels too, but I forgot them all. But my mind kept going, oh, you got to see Subspecies again.
How many did they make? 3?
3 or 4? 5? I'm gonna find out.
All right, while you do, Jack, please save me. Subspecies.
I watched a movie called Subspecies Species with Natasha Henstridge with really long fingers.
Now that we could talk about.
And she fights a leprechaun in it. It's a good flick, but I actually didn't watch that. It's Halloween night. What did I do? Said I need to go back and watch an old favorite. I gotta pick something carefully here. Like I said, there was a few other movies I watched throughout the week. Went back to like the old favorites, the top 10s, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what is going to be that Halloween movie? And then there it was, From Beyond.
Oh,
yes. We need to do an episode on that.
Last time I watched that movie, I was drinking in Hunter's living room.
Oh, yeah.
A couple years ago.
I just bought the Blu-ray.
And this is another one that I was thinking I probably need to have Dream Warriors and From Beyond just on Blu-ray because they are. So I only watch this movie every so often. And I always remember certain things and then some stuff slips my mind. And God, is this just the most fun movie? The Reanimator is one thing. And then this is just something else. I remember seeing this for the first time and just like baffled by what I was watching. It starts off when they turn on that resonator and you see like the paramecium stuff flying around and you're like, what is going on here? And then at one point, just Ken Faree running around in his Speedo with his junk, fighting like the Audrey from Little Shop of Horrors in the basement. Like, and Jeffrey Combs, he evolves from this scientist into like this bald-headed freak with his pineal gland.
Pineal gland, yeah.
And talk about Barbara Crampton in her freaking prime.
Dominatrix.
Dominatrix outfit.
And the resonator has this effect that it stimulates people sexually and pleasure in their pleasure centers. So I love the way that when the thing turns on, they're all just kind of like, turn it off. I kind of can't turn it off. Like,
finished.
And then we get you get through the whole thing with the resonator and the dude who's in the other dimension, and he's all kind of like Slither owes a huge debt of gratitude to this movie.
Yeah.
But then like once that's all done and they're back at the hospital, and now Jeffrey Combs has gotten a taste for human brains as
eating brains out of a jar
and sucking them out of people's eyeballs and stuff. Listen, if you have not seen From Beyond, you have to watch this movie. It's like Reanimator and this are like the two bookends of the great video library.
And Stuart Gordon is in the Hall of Fame just for those two. He never needed to do anything else.
Yeah, so again, like when you're talking about it's October and I'm looking for those old favorites, this is one of those ones that's just a surefire. When people say, why are you a horror fan? Like, because I like movies like From Beyond.
Yep.
And I'm like, ugh.
Now, some friends of mine at work who are big horror movie fans, but they're younger than me or not as seasoned as me. I said the other, I go, yeah, watch From Beyond, and they're like, oh, what's that? And I'm like,
Oh God.
people, please. So this is a public service announcement. If you've not seen From Beyond, go watch it right now.
Like when they said it, did you feel like the guy in Dawn of the Dead on TV going, dummies, dummies, dummies?
I just said, oh, look, I can't verbally do this movie justice except to say it's freaking crazy and you got to see it.
That's right.
Did you catch that on Shudder or anything?
I pay-per-viewed it off of Amazon.
Okay.
It was like $3 or something like that.
Totally worth it.
Another great gift idea for the grab bag.
I'm writing it down. An invisible ink.
Can we bring dates to the holiday party this year, or is it just staff only?
Sausage party only, man.
Do we have to dress like fat ninjas or leprechauns or anything?
Fat leprechaun ninjas.
Fat leprechaun. There you go. Okay, so your transition, Jack, is that I rewatched Willow.
Oh, jeez.
Why?
The 1988 fantasy film. This is a good movie. It legitimately is. I love this. I watch it every couple years. It has some of the best lines ever. My friends and I always say, get out of the way, peck, to each other all the time.
Now, the guy is in that. He was an Ewok, but he was not the leprechaun, right?
No, he was the leprechaun, yeah.
He was the leprechaun, so...
Yep. Oh, God, what the...
Just looked like a leprechaun.
There's leprechauns in that movie?
Warwick Davis.
Who's the other one?
What do you mean? Who's the other one?
Isn't there another? Wasn't there Warwick Davis?
Darby O'Gill?
I mean, I'm not crazy here. He was, Leprechaun in the Hood. Yeah, he was Leprechaun.
Was he Leprechaun?
Yeah. He was also an Ewok. Well, he wasn't an Ewok. He was in, I don't know. What the hell?
He's in one of the Star Wars movies because
yes.
he was in the last one.
Yeah, I know he was in one of the 3 that came out in the 2000s or whatever, 90s. Anyway, this movie, it's got some parts that it feels like maybe it was cut for time a little bit, but Val Kilmer is a freaking revelation in this movie as a huge D-bag who's also the greatest swordsman who's ever lived. And
sounds like the real him.
What's that?
Sounds like the real him.
He was a freaking stud in this movie, though, I'll tell you what. But this is just a fun movie. If you haven't revisited in a long time, there are freaking dragons and epic sword fights and witchcraft and crazy pacing. Is just nonstop to the end. And I mean, the final battle is between 2 elderly women with wands, and it's still great. Like it's a solid movie.
When Tom Cruise attacks Tim Curry as the giant devil, that's the best part of that movie.
Of Legend.
Same thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's actually a good movie. If you haven't seen it in a long time, it's worth checking out. It's pretty funny too. I really like the humor. So, all right.
Now, are you sure that you wouldn't rather watch The Saint if you're watching a Val Kilmer movie?
Oh, this is much better than The Saint.
Oh, God. Or what's that horror movie he did, Betwixt?
Betwixt with Ellie Fanning.
What is that? I don't think I've seen that.
You got to see that.
Coppola, bad horror movie from like
weird.
Oh, yes, movie. I did. That was awful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was Francis Ford Coppola.
That's right. That would have made me.
That was like
concerned.
Francis Ford Coppola's Leprechaun.
Do you guys have anything else?
No.
All right. Here's my book recommendation. Also non-horror, but if you have read the Robert Galbraith series, the Corman Strike novels, their detective series written by J.K. Rowling. The 4th one came out maybe a month ago, and they're freaking excellent. If you like this kind of thing, they're some of my favorite books.
J.K. Simmons.
Yes, J.K. Simmons. She's a great writer. She's one of the best writers working, to be honest. Super skilled, and they're very expensive on Kindle, but they're damn good books.
Library.
All righty, ready to jump into The Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
You have to have a favorite. What comes to mind?
So the main feature this week, as I just said, is The Haunting of Hill House, created, directed, and I believe written by Mike Flanagan.
Most of it's written by Flanagan.
The Final Guy's icon at this point, Mike Flanagan. Yeah. And It's what Netflix original that he did, I think, over just this year. What was it? 8 episodes, maybe something like that. 10 episodes, and kind of taken the horror world by storm over the last month. So let's jump into it. You have a little description for us, Jack?
There's a house called Hill House, and it's haunted.
Nailed it.
I like
it. I should say I've never actually read the Shirley Jackson book. Have you?
Yeah, it's marvelous.
Everybody says. I need to check it out.
I have not read the book. I do not have the attachment to the other iterations of this that Hunter does. So I'm very curious to see Hunter's reaction to this versus mine, because without the haunting is based on this book, right, Hunter?
Correct.
And that's like your favorite movie, or one of them.
Right up there, yes.
It's like Chud, Leprechaun, and The Haunting.
And Double Penetration Party Girls.
And The Taint, with Val Kilmer.
The Taint!
I'm with you. I have no affinity for any of that stuff. I wasn't even excited when they said they were remaking this, or reimagining, or whatever they were calling it. But when I saw Flanagan was on, I'm in. Guy's got anything he does, it has my attention.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then let's go with the expert here, Hunter. What you think?
I will tell you, when this was announced, first I was like, you can go take a long walk off a short pier. And then when we heard Flanagan was part of it, I was like, okay, I'll watch it. It was from flat out no to watching. And it was weird. I wanted this to fall. I wanted it just to suck. But I didn't want him to fail. So I started watching this.
Okay.
It was weird. I was very conflicted. I've never
quite
been
a tightrope
watching something. Yeah, it's a really good show. It's nothing. It's funny because they modernized the story and they expanded it to include this family moving in here, and it's going back and forth in timelines between back then and now. And it's a show with a heart. There's a lot of feelings in this. My wife was cried about 7 freaking times in this movie, in this show.
And by your wife, you mean you?
Yes. They blow up. Senorita Wences. Hello. So there were some brilliant moves in this. I love the fact that Flanagan directed every episode, so it never lost the aesthetic. I think it's absolutely gorgeous to look at.
Yep.
There are some really genuinely creepy moments in it, and I heard there's like at least 8 ghosts in every episode that nobody reacts to, that you have to find.
Oh, there's videos online. I watched them all.
Of course. So I thought it was really, really good. I'm not going to say it's the best horror show ever made, but I was pretty damn impressed. I thought that was some of the most mature writing I think I've ever seen given to horror, probably hands down. So kudos to him.
All right, Jack, what about you?
I also was not looking forward to this when it was announced. I rolled my eyes as it got closer. When I heard Carla was involved in this, I was like, okay, I like her. We'll see. And then it came out right, in the heart of Halloween season, and for me, baseball. So I was like, when am I going to get around to this? Whatever. And I started watching one off here or there because I wanted to make sure I was done with it in time to talk about it here. And I ended up getting through it in a good pace where I didn't have to jam, but I watched it all. And I got to tell you something, man. I loved this thing. This is one of my favorite haunted house things I've ever watched. There is so much crap with haunted house movies and shows. There's so much stuff that bores me or is just cheap thrills, jump scares. I don't care about the characters. There's not enough paranormal for me. There's too much paranormal. This 10 episodes, characters I cared about, great filmmaking.
Characters here, you're dead inside.
Yeah. And there was just a moment, I don't know if it's the 5th or 6th episode, that I said, oh my God, that may be one of the best episodes of television I've ever seen in my life.
6. It's amazing.
And later on, one of the best jump scares I've ever seen in anything. And not only because it startles the hell out of you, but it's earned. It is relevant to the story. And it just knocks you on your ass. So for me, there was a grand slam when I was expecting a single. Like I really enjoyed this a lot.
Nice.
I'm with you, Jack. I'm gonna have to look back over my list, but I'm almost 100% sure so far this is number one all year for me. I also plan to watch an episode here, an episode there, and I figured I'd probably finish it up the day before we did this. We plowed through it in 2 days, maybe 3 days, but I think it was 2. I mean, we just crushed this show. Flanagan, to me at this point, I mean, is he the best working horror director right now? I can't think of anybody I would put above him.
What else is on his resume? I know he did Oculus.
Gerald's Game. Did you see Absentia?
Absentia was pretty. It was made for about 45 cents, but it was.
I like that. He also did Hush, which stars
Hush.
Theo. Was in Hush. Kate Siegel.
He did the second Ouija movie, which was not terrible.
No, that was actually the surprise movie.
Hey, fun fact. Did you know that adult Shirley and young Shirley played mom and daughter in Ouija Origin of Evil?
I knew I recognized that girl.
Yep. She's also an Annabelle creation.
Annabelle.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So anyway, yeah, everything he does, I'm super excited for, except for this. I was excited because he was involved, but, you know, a whole series, man, did he absolutely crush this. Hunter, you nailed it. This is one of the best looking, not even shows, movies I've seen this year. Just beautifully shot. Beautiful. The acting, the casting, everything. I couldn't remember everyone's name because there's 87 characters in this freaking show. But they were cast so well that I could recognize them and I knew everything about them. I just couldn't remember the name.
If you watch the original Haunting, it's all pulling from that.
Okay.
So they're naming the kids after different characters in the original. That and like they would throw in exact lines all throughout the 10 episodes that you'd be like, oh crap, that's right. And the way he wove it in was brilliant. Something like this could change the horror landscape for a while, where you might start seeing horror movies with feeling.
And this had a lot of it.
It was a perfect balance of character development and scares, because this movie could have stood on its own as a drama without the horror.
Mm-hmm.
Like this had the dynamics between the brothers and sisters and the father were so good, but then at the same time it stands on its own as a haunted house movie. And I thought it was gonna fall to the I'm bored side of things, and I never got bored once.
No. Was it episode 6 that had that long shot that in the
episode 6
is 5 shots?
Yeah, it's like 5 or 6 shots. Unbelievable. It was like watching a play, because the camera kept spinning and you'd see actors waiting, like, you know, they were doing things in the background, and then they would step up and speak, and then they go into the house. They go down the hall of the funeral home and down, and they end up in the mansion in the past. And I saw behind the scenes on that, and there's like an 11-minute take that they went down and they built a special set, and there's an elevator that the camera went down and everything.
That was stunning.
So on Flanagan's Twitter, he put a whole thread up explaining how they shot it, and down a piece. First of all, it's a must read if you're really into filmmaking and all that. 5 shots. Shot 1 was over 14 minutes long. Now I remember watching that thinking I was spotting maybe where they hid edits, but
I was looking for that too.
Apparently they only hid 5 edits. Shot 2 was 7.5 minutes. Shot 3 was over 17 minutes. Shot 4 was 6 minutes, and shot 5 was 5.5 minutes. That is insane. That is freaking insane that he pulled that off, and it looked so good. I was blown away that whole episode.
That's the episode we were talking about. That I thought was one of the best things I've ever seen. Technically, I'm watching it and I'm marveling, but also from an acting standpoint, everybody is crushing it. And it's all taking place at this sister's funeral. And there's just the range of emotions people are going through, and the way they're treating each other, and how people deal with grief, and then the supernatural stuff that starts happening is genuinely creepy.
Yeah.
But then Timothy Hutton, there's a moment where he's confronted with a ghost, but he reacts the way a father would react to seeing his daughter and not how I would react to seeing a ghost I don't know. Like, like
Right.
it was so good.
You know what broke me in that? It was so weird. It came out of left field when the older brother goes up to the casket, and you could see it rocks him for some reason. That effed me up. Like I'm sitting there like going like, oh, don't you cry in this.
That's Elliot from E.T.
I know. well, no, Elliot
was the father,
the young father
in the past.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I'm confused.
Game of Thrones.
No, I know what you're talking about. Sorry. When the guy goes up to the casket, I think it hit me too, and I think it's because he had been the Rock through the whole setup of everything, and then he just collapses when he sees her, and it's almost like when you spend time developing characters and bad things happen to them, we care.
It breaks him.
In the chat, your boy Ferris from So Bad It's Good said it's even more impressive that episode because there were so many kid actors in it going in and out of the caskets, and he's right. I mean, getting them to do that must have been so freaking hard.
There were probably about 200 people on set.
Yeah, probably.
And the storyline of what's going on in the past versus what's going on in the present are mirroring each other. And the labyrinth that is that house, as they're going through it, the house is designed so well that as you're turning each corner of the hallway, you're just holding your breath as to what's going to be around that corner. And man, I remember I came in the next day and a friend of mine had already seen the whole show, and so he kept checking in me. Did you watch any? It's like, and when I came in that day, I just go, okay, I've been really enjoying this, but I think I just saw the best episode of television I've ever seen, or one of them. And he goes, oh, and he knew exactly what I was talking about. So I'm glad to see that you guys are feeling the same way I am about this one, because like I can't be alone in this. This is just tremendous, right?
No, it's one of the top 5 episodes of anything I've ever seen.
I think because of that, 7, 8, and 9 to me, I did not enjoy.
I've heard people say that.
I was by the 9th episode. I'm like, I don't give a shit how this ends.
Oh no, I was in the whole way.
It lost me. If you did script, there's like 7-page soliloquies of everyone saying this shit. I'm like, all right, enough already. I was getting kind of bored by it, but Flanagan didn't write those episodes. He just directed them. And then he wrote the last episode, and I was like, oh, all right, we're like a phoenix rising from the ashes of what this has become.
Yeah, I didn't lose my interest at all through it. It's just, it's definitely hard to keep, you hit that peak, man, holding up there. I can't imagine how hard that was to do, and it's so good. It's beyond anything we've seen in a movie this year for sure. I mean, I can't think of anything close.
Carla Gugino is so great in this. Once again,
this is how good the movie is. It took us this long to bring her out. By the way, she's almost 50. How is she better looking now than when she was 20?
Yeah, she's stunning. And I mean, man, I mean, you love her, and then she's got this menace to her, and she's just a pleasure to watch. I thought at first I was like, why did they just have Timothy Hutton in both roles? Like, why couldn't he just be, younged up?
Yeah.
And then later on, I was like, well, I kind of like that they did it the way they did it.
Right. No, I thought it was cool. And it's nice to see Timothy Hutton doing something. I can't remember the last thing I saw him in.
Yeah, he's great.
He was really good, man.
I thought all of the kids, the adults and the kids, number one, the pairings were great. I thought a lot of the kids really felt like, especially the girl with the gloves. I was like, oh my God, was that
little Theo was friggin' badass.
So the adult female with the gloves is Flanagan's wife, who was the lead actress in Hush. She was the deaf.
Oh, okay. She was great. The other, the controlling sister, she's the one from Ouija, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She was great.
How about having your husband say, I'm going to make you a lesbian and have you do love scenes with the hottest Asian girl I can find?
Yeah, that did not hurt.
Can we watch this scene again at home, honey?
It's like, it's going to take 4 days to shoot this scene.
I lived in Boston. I don't remember that bar.
Because you weren't invited. Lesbian bar.
Carla Carla Gugino and him and he are they're such a great pairing. I hope he keeps casting her in things because between Gerald's Game and this, they need to just keep riding the train because they are great. They work great together.
They are phenomenal together.
And there was some just genuinely terrifying parts of this.
Yes.
Now, I did not see a lot of the ghosts. When you go back and watch the videos and they show you, there are a few I'm like, oh, I did see that, or what I thought I saw. And then there's other ones I'm like, oh my God, I didn't. Because if you go back to Sharp Objects, they did that with words, and it was really interesting. And I would miss a ton of them, and I would catch some of them. With this, there's so many freaking ghosts in the background that you don't.
Oh, it's crazy. By the way, what is there anything scarier than little Luke in the dumbwaiter and being trapped in it?
Oh.
Holy cow!
You know what? We should get the spoilers so we can jump into some of this stuff.
All right, let's do it.
So we're all for anybody who's going to bail on the podcast now, we're all giving this thumbs up, right?
Hell yeah!
Best thing I've seen this year so far.
Yeah, if this counts as a movie, like it's going in the.
It's I don't give a shit what the rules are for the list. This is on my list.
Wow, it's your list. You can do whatever you want.
That's right.
I mean, I think if you only like maybe a rerun of Leprechaun would be something I'd watch over this.
Leprechaun in the Hood.
Leprechaun in space
with lots of ghosts.
It's a good double feature with this.
Okay, spoiler alert. Can I start spoilers?
Yep. The house is haunted.
Number one, the girl, the daughter. We are in spoilers, people. You've been warned. The youngest daughter who dies.
Yes, Nell.
First of all, tremendous actress. She crushed it.
It's only like her third thing she's ever done.
Wow.
Her ghost is what provides that unbelievable jump scare in the car.
Yeah, jaw-dropping moment.
Jumps between the two in the front seat. Yes.
Now, at the end of that tremendous episode, where she's like, "I'm here and you can't hear me," that's like yank your heart out and stomp on it.
Right.
And then just the fact that it's her trying to warn them and communicate with them, and this whole non-linear thing where she's the hanging woman ghost, and she's going back to warn herself about it.
The bent neck lady.
Yes, the bent neck lady.
Bent neck lady.
I love that. That was very Stephen Kingian.
Every time, like she was like hanging over. They did a great job of preying on people in bed, the most vulnerable, scary place you can be, and they played it perfectly. But man, every time the bent neck lady showed up, I was like, "Oh God, no, not her!"
Yeah. This is what do you remember the scene when it was the last episode when Shirley is recalling the time that she cheated on her husband? And she told the guy, "Look, I'm married."
Scotch guy.
Yeah. So we're not going to do anything. And at the very end, he kind of hits on her and she says, "Oh, you got to the 1 yard line, right? And then you acted like a man." I thought this movie got to the 1 yard line and didn't make it in like the Seahawks against the New England Patriots.
It's Steelers.
Yeah. So, because then Hill House became this lovely depository to just stick your dying in, and everyone's going to be all happy and loving and bathed in light. When this is a diseased house, it's a cursed house. So why is it the place everyone wants to go?
I totally disagree with you, because I think what's going on here is the house has tricked people into. I think it tricked Timothy Hutton at the end, and that everybody thinks that this was a nice happy ending, but really it was like the house won.
I don't know.
Like the kids got away, but
if that's the case, that's pretty good.
the house tricked Timothy Hutton into staying.
Then fucking the Dudley brings his wife there, and she's now surrounded by her 2 kids, and all is happy. I'm like, no, you fucked it. That's not what the house is about.
My interpretation was the happy ending too. I never thought about the house tricking everyone.
I thought the house was like, nope, you were going to burn me down, and instead I've seduced you into keeping me going, and I've gotten more souls.
But then everybody's smiling and happy and covered in light.
The kids got away, but the people in the house, yeah, but that's an illusion.
I don't know.
It's actually the first time I've heard that. Is that a thing a lot of people are saying? I've never looked it up, so
I was thinking it because I was like, I loved the maneuver they did with Timothy Hutton with the heart pills. I thought, I was like, oh wow, that was really clever. And I started thinking about it. So I was thinking about it then. Then I watched a couple of reviews, and somebody said it somewhere, and it kind of reinforced.
Some fart sniffer.
I think you don't fart sniff enough sometimes.
Because they were tying
What?
the end in the bow, so why leave that nebulous?
I don't think they did,
It
though.
was true to everything, and then he punted at the core of what Hill House is. That's how I feel.
My one complaint with this show was the last episode. I felt like there was no dramatic conclusion, no ending, because the one ghost is, I think she's at Timothy Hutton, and she's screwing with him, and Carla Guginu's ghost comes up and says, leave him alone, and she does, and then there's no more drama for the rest of it. There was no, like, it felt like it was building to this crescendo, and then it just stopped.
Right.
So,
well, because you knew it was going to happen too.
Well, then I took also the happy ending interpretation, so I felt like it didn't fit the rest of the series. I still liked the ending because I thought it was well done, but I wanted more. But the House One thing is kind of interesting to me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but I think that's looking into it beyond what they were showing you. This show showed you everything, so why did they not show that?
But I think they did.
No, they didn't. You know what you do when
that house tricked everybody
in darkness and have them screaming and slam the door shut. That's Hill House. Not a fucking folk song playing in the background and everyone's smiling.
I'm gonna see if Flanagan ever talked about this. I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, we should call him. I'm gonna call him. Let me.
I was satisfied with the ending. If anything, I thought the caretaker people stuff was a little bit tacked on.
I think it was to reinforce this. Hey, this is the place to go, man, because the spirits all stay here.
So but the thing they did where you thought that their kid was a ghost the whole time, and then you're like, "Holy crap, that was just a kid that just got poisoned."
That was
freaking awesome.
Yeah,
Abigail, who in the story, the original is Abigail Crane, who was the young woman who grows old and dies in the house before everyone comes in to investigate the hauntings.
I did want to mention one other thing before I forget. The bent neck lady, and I don't know who the super tall dude is, what the story is.
Oh, the super tall dude was the husband that walled himself in.
Okay. Oh my God, was that shit creepy. Every time he was in it, that just the visual was so amazing in that.
Again, poor Luke under the bed with that guy. No wonder why he was on drugs. Who wouldn't be?
Yeah. For real. Yeah, I thought the visuals with all the ghost stuff
and when he's amazing. Out on the street and the tall guy is like following him.
Yeah.
That was really good. So this is what I wanted to say. One thing I loved about this was that the whole thing doesn't take place in the house. You go out into real life, and these people, Hunter, it's always like I talk to you. You talk about these ghosts you see and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't know if I saw this stuff. I think I'd be more like the guy on drugs, or like I think I'd be more screwed up by this. Like,
yes, I'm not.
And I loved, oh man, you want to talk about the scary part when it's the two girls at the funeral home and there's banging on the door.
Oh my God, yes.
So
on the
good.
Halloween night.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of great, there's so many. It's almost hard to count how many great parts there are in this.
And I did love the family dynamic. I was talking to my niece and nephew about different personalities in our family, and I'm a lot more laid back than some of my immediate family members. And so we were just getting into stuff like that recently in a conversation. And then I'm watching this and I'm like, oh, okay, so this one deals with things by being bossy. And this one like disassociates, and this one drinks, and this one does drugs. And this guy has to be the helper and all
These
that.
are my people.
But then the other great thing I liked about this show was they kept showing you something, and then a few episodes later, they'd show you from the other perspective of what was going on. And I don't think they ever fumbled. I thought it was like, oh, that's really clever. I thought it was really good. So again, I never got bored. I never got disappointed like you did. I liked the ending. I liked because I thought it was a bittersweet ending. I thought it was a happy ending on the surface, and then there was like this darker undertone underneath it.
If they showed it, but
I like
whatever. I
like the ending too. I just, like I said, I felt like all this build up with the ghosts and the scariness just died instantly. Like it hit a wall, and then it was happiness, bittersweet happiness after that. You know, it wasn't a major problem. It's still, I loved it, but just that one thing. I thought, oh, that's it. She just told that ghost to go away, and that's a wrap.
Well, here comes where you hate it. Now they're going to go back and do like the Hill family.
Yeah, that's where I wish they would just leave this alone. Actually, listen, they never should have touched this because the Catherine Zeta-Jones haunting was so good that they never should. It's like the Psycho remake with.
By the way, did you see the Mystic Pizza connection? Because in the remake, it had Lily Taylor from Mystic Pizza. This, the caretaker's wife, Annabeth Gish, was in Mystic Pizza.
Oh, she's not the X-Files chick, right?
Yeah. So maybe Julia Roberts will be in another version of this.
I don't think I noticed that because I was too hung up on the fact that Carla Guginu's Elliot husband in this was the father who molested her in Gerald's Game.
Yeah.
So
I was like, this is weird.
Yeah. I saw in one of the things I watched about this, there's an ET lunchbox when the kid's in the treehouse. So as a little nod.
Oh, was there?
Yeah.
I love the fact when I go, there was no treehouse.
That red room thing I thought was
great. Yeah, that was great. I love that. Have they announced a season 2?
I hope not.
I hope not.
Never do.
This is a perfect one and done. That's it.
It won't be though.
Go do a Leprechaun 10 episode series with Julia Roberts in the Jennifer Aniston role. There is your Mystic Pizza, Leprechaun Pizza.
That sounds perfect. Thank you. I will say in the chat, most people are agreeing that they thought the house won as well. So maybe I'm just blind and didn't notice it. But
that's interesting. People like to see things that aren't really there, like a ghost.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to look it up. I'm curious about it. Okay, so anything else we want to add for this? Are we done?
I'm done. I'm spent.
I'm surprised you got the whole thing in this week. Well done.
It was not easy. It was not easy at all, but I did it, damn it.
So for next week, we're not 100% sure. We're going to try and do Overlord, the movie that's dropping in theaters that may or may not be part of Cloverfield. We're not sure.
Dropping like a deuce.
But hopefully that'll be next week's movie, but follow us on Twitter to find out for sure. We always try to remember to let everyone know. We don't. And then people ask us, and then we decide.
They're not watching these anyway, so whatever. It's fine.
All righty. Any last words from either one of you?
I need me gold.
Get out and vote to stop the blue wave.
I was literally going to say right when I closed it, we're the only show on freaking election day that did not tell you to go vote, and you wrecked it 10 seconds before it was going to end.
But I did it after the polls are closed, so it's meaningless.
Vote for the leprechaun.
Warwick Davis for prez. Before we go, have you ever seen, he had a show on, I don't know if it was Showtime or HBO called Life's Too Short. It was only, I think, one season.
No.
He was playing a fictionalized version of himself trying to act in Hollywood, and everyone treated him as subhuman. And it was hysterical. They would make
I gotta see this.
Who's the other
thinking of Billy Barty?
Billy Barty. He was in the Masters of the Universe.
And also in Willow.
Yeah, he was?
Yeah. He was the magician in Willow's village at the beginning who didn't take him on as his apprentice.
I can't remember. I think there was a Mad TV skit where Billy Barty got in a punching bag and Mike Tyson punched the bag, and when they opened it up, just innards spilled out of the bag.
Never seen that.
And if you listen to Gilbert Gottfried's podcast, he's legendary that he once lost a role to Billy Barty.
That's amazing.
But we've seen Gilbert. He's not much bigger.
I'm the leprechaun.
I'm Clavin.
Oh, my God. All right. We're getting out of here. Hopefully Overlord for next week.
Yeah.
Review, rate the whole shebang if you can. We appreciate it. And we'll catch you later.
So long, suckers.
Ta-ta.
Game over, man.